Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissach, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And so very excited to bring updates and information to you about some of the most important people in our community, our kids. And the people who are taking care of our kids, those are the people in our public school system. We welcome back to the program Superintendent Bubba Orgeron. Bubba, thanks for joining us. We appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Sitting next to him, Mr. Devin Obear, 14 years as a supervisor of transportation and safety. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So, Bubba, I guess first things first, let's kind of talk about kind of where we stand. People keep asking, and I remind people all the time, if you think it takes a long time to take care of your house and work with insurance for your own house, imagine if you had to do it for an entire school system dealing with all of the problems that we've had with IDA.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, yeah. And, as difficult as insurance companies are, when you're dealing with federal money, the FEMA side of it, it's doubly as long, and just more things you have to kind of take care of. Lots of red tape, right? So one thing I'd like to convey is that to kind of see where we're at with every school's progress towards recovery on our website. If you look under the Hurricane Ida Recovery tab, and that's like right on our main page. There's a title bar and it says Hurricane Recovery. You click on that, and it has a chart embedded in that link with every school and every school's progress.
Wow.
And it's color coded with different colors. Obviously, you'll see, and it's very clear and easy to understand. But there's a lot of schools that are in the bid phase, and that's a blue box.
Blue
and
box.
It's, lined up with the date on the top. So you see the blue boxes on a lot of jobs right now that are out.
Out to bid.
Out to bids, and it's
that's
typically
what that means.
Typically about a month's process to kind of put bids out and receive bids, low bid obviously.
Right.
And
but we have to
go
do
from
3
there.
bids for each, right?
Well, not for this purpose.
Okay. Oh, great.
So we go low bid.
Low bid, right?
Yes.
So we put bids out and low bid comes back.
That's right. Now every once in a while we may only get one bid and it's too high. We may kind of reopen it and re-advertise.
Right.
Try and reach more vendors or more companies to kind of do the work, but
depending upon the need.
That's right. And we have to kind of expedite a lot of this work. As you know, it's time to get a lot of this stuff done. So we're ready to kind of receive these and award these bids so we can start the construction phase.
Right.
And on the little color chart, the construction is going to be green. So you'll see an allotted box for construction. It might be several months. It could be 8 months to do a roof of a big school like H.L. Bourgeois.
Sure.
That's a big job. So that's a lengthy process. And so the construction phase, it involves procurement of materials, a little bit of the design, but a lot of the design work's done on the front end, prior to bid.
Right.
But the construction company has to kind of get stuff, stage stuff, and then begin the construction phase.
Right.
So if it's in green right now, the phase of this project, and nothing's getting done or visible, we're waiting for stuff to come in.
Waiting for supplies.
And a couple examples, just right now, Southdown School and Grand Caillou Middle School, two new buildings.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of superficial damage on those schools. Right. And they're in the green category on our chart. Well, you don't see any work being done because we're kind of waiting for some materials to come in, and it's a little backed up still.
And those may be specialty materials.
Sometimes it's some of that.
Brand new schools, right? And so we're having to kind of match up. Some of the older schools need a little bit more replaced.
Right.
But even finding
it's
some
total
of those,
replacement.
yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of where we're at, and it's a good explanation. If you really want to kind of
drill down
in on a particular school, you kind of see where we're at with this, the process.
Right. Give us that website so people know exactly where to go.
It's just the Terrebonne Parish School System, our main page.
Right.
And there's a title bar that says Hurricane Recovery. There's a little tab. You click on that, and it says Hurricane Ida. Right. And then that'll lead you to a big spreadsheet that's very easy to manipulate and has some slides on it so you can see dates and schools. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So I appreciate that. And so a lot of those things, again, out to bid or construction.
Or started, yeah.
Right.
Some of the construction
construction has started.
And then one thing we've added to the chart, is a little yellow tab.
Okay.
And guess what yellow means?
Caution.
Typically, it would mean that, but it means completed.
Oh, my goodness.
So we have some things like some modular buildings, like we put one over at Berg.
Right. Saw that one.
Broadmoor has one. So,
right.
So that job, it's not as easy to just get a modular. I mean, there's a lot of prep work, site work, and all the stuff that comes. So we can now see that there's a yellow tab, meaning it's done. Kids are in. So that's a good thing.
I like that. That's a great yellow color.
Yeah, yes,
and what it
that's
means,
right? That's right.
And like you said, a lot of that work is going into those, like a modular.
That's
There's
right.
so much stuff that needs to be done, plumbing, electrical, all those things to get it ready. Foundation. Once it's
all
there,
that, yes.
then we kind of move a little bit faster.
That's right.
But it's getting it here.
That's right.
And again, we need to be understanding that getting some of those supplies is as difficult, if not more difficult, for you guys in the school system. Those are not everyday items.
Exactly.
Those are not things. The roof that needs to be changed, it's not like your regular, roof that needs to be changed at your house. These are larger buildings,
Right.
and different kinds of materials. And
Yes.
so sometimes those supplies take much longer.
That's right.
And that. So really exciting that we can be able to do that. And so I appreciate that. And so I want to just brag a little bit. Together, you guys have 45 years of service.
Yeah, right. Between
Just
Mr.
between
Obey
the
and
two
myself,
of you.
Right.
And so briefly, Mr. Devlin, thank you so much for joining us. And so we're not going to be able to spend a lot of time, but I just kind of wanted to just say thank you for your service to the school system and to our community for 14 years. Supervisor of Transportation and Safety, coordinating, not easy job to do, but I appreciate it very, very much, and that you've been doing it for that long. So when we come back, I want to find out a lot more about some of the challenges that we have, especially in transportation, and maybe a little bit of a shout out to some people that can do that. And so I'm sure you've enjoyed your 14 years in the school system, all right? And if you're the Director of Transportation and Supervisor of Transportation, there's one thing you need, and I'm going to let you tell the people what it is.
Okay, so in the transportation department, one of our main issues would be driver shortage.
Yes, sir.
We're short, actually we're short right now about 21 drivers.
21 drivers.
21 drivers, yes, sir.
Wow.
And mind you, each driver does 3 loads. They do a high school,
Okay.
an elementary, and a middle.
Okay.
So normally when those 3 drivers aren't in, well, we hadn't filled those vacancies.
Right.
So
we're
what?
63.
That's right. So it's 63 loads that the drivers that are working have to cover.
Wow.
They do their 3 loads, their middle, high school, and elementary, and then they have to go and try to cover the vacant loads. Now, mind you, that are just the vacant loads. On any given day, I still have other drivers that are out on some type of leave,
Sure,
anywhere from
sure.
10 to 15. So if you add that to the 21, that's kind of what we're dealing with.
Anywhere between 30 and 36 bus drivers short on any given day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so listen, 2 men, listen well. We need bus drivers. Hands down. Terrebonne Parish is in need of bus drivers. I will tell you, I've got 2 friends, and I was telling Mr. Devlin this earlier. 2 friends, and they didn't know kind of what to do in the next phase of their life, the next stage of their life. One was a business owner. One had just had a job in construction, and it wasn't working out. They became bus drivers, and they loved it. So right now, Terrebonne Parish really needs bus drivers. Mr. Obey, tell them how they can really think about and why they should think about becoming a bus driver now.
Okay, well, I'll go a little bit over our driver recruiting strategy.
Okay.
And the first thing I'll talk a little bit about is the salary.
Okay.
So if you're starting out as a bus driver, we're paying at least $20,000. It's $20,003 annually.
Wow.
So and that's with 0 experience.
Okay.
The health insurance is included in that $20,000, so the bus driver doesn't have to pay for health insurance.
Oh, wow.
That comes with the $20,000.
Okay.
You have extra earnings potential that you
Okay.
can make.
Because we're short so many drivers.
Yes,
Okay.
and then those drivers that normally have to cover other loads, we pay them
Oh, wow.
as well.
Very good. All right.
So they don't just cover it for free, we pay them.
Okay.
Also longevity.
Okay.
They work 180 days annually. So a bus driver, if you come be a bus driver for the Terrebonne Parish School Board, you're going to work 180 days. You're going to actually drive 177 days. The other 3 days will be like classroom work and non-driving days.
Okay. Wow.
And the biggest thing is all our buses are air conditioned now. So
There have been tremendous upgrades, and when it comes to transportation and safety, our buses are top of the line. They're
Yes.
safe. They've got air conditioning. The kids are safe. We need a safe driver to drive them.
we just need the drivers to drive them.
Right. Just over $20,000. Insurance is covered. 177 driving days, a total of 180 days. It's less than half the year.
less than half the year.
And half the day too. When you look
Right,
at it,
right.
it's not a full time.
Unless you wanted to be, if you're one of those drivers that wants to help to cover, you know,
Yeah,
what a
right,
great
right.
job it would be to be one of those 30 to 36 drivers who the new person comes in and they say, oh, I'll take some of that extra load off of you. Ironically enough, we're talking about loads of kids.
Yeah.
I'll take that extra load off of you. What does that do to help out those people who have been having to really cover those other loads, right?
Yes, yes, and I can tell you, all the drivers that I have, I mean, they go above and beyond. I mean, they work hard, and them covering other loads.
Right.
Like I said, they have to do their own loads.
Right.
Then they have to go and cover the other loads.
Right.
And it puts them behind schedule.
Well, and it gets the kids to the schools a little later. Right?
Exactly. Get all the kids to school a little later. But the biggest thing is my job, I guess, is to keep motivating my drivers. I let each and every driver know I don't want them out there doing anything to get to school faster by breaking laws, speeding, or anything of that sort.
Right.
So I like for them to, take their time,
Right.
do what needs to be done, and look, I can sleep well at night knowing that we got each and every kid to school safely and back home safely. We might have been a little late,
That's
Right.
but
right.
we got them to school safely and back home safely.
And again, that's the big goal. And I guess the other thing that you really want the drivers to know is how much you appreciate them.
Yes.
And again, that's the one thing we want to echo from our community. We really appreciate what you're doing, how you're doing it. We just want to find out if you got some friends who want to do it as well. Because again, we can come up here and ask, but they know the network of people that may be available.
Yes, sir.
And I know some of those people. I've got friends that are really excited and ready to retire. All right, here's a great retirement job. And like you said, great idea, Bubba, that you mentioned. It's not even an all-day thing.
Right.
You can get that load in the morning. You have lunch with your friends.
Yeah, and
And
I
then you
think
could do that in
Devin,
the
you could
afternoon.
attest to this. I think some drivers they actually have other jobs. You know?
Right,
So it's like
right.
they drive, go to work somewhere, and then
Yes.
drive again in the afternoon. Maybe even work after.
Yeah.
Everybody's a little different, but
Sure.
that's common.
I will tell you guys, I did it. So why am I telling you? I don't ever ask people to do anything I wouldn't do. I drove a bus. 3 years in college, I was honored to be able to run an after-school program, pick up kids, and drop them off. And there's an importance in that job, but if I can do it, you can do it. But Mr. Devlin, tell them about some of the extra things. In addition to that, only working 177 days a year, only working 4 hours out of the day, getting paid $5, getting paid $20,000 a year. Tell them about the extras.
Okay, well, I can start with trips. A lot of schools go on trips.
Okay?
We used to pay $10 per hour for trips,
Okay.
but we actually increased that to $18
Oh, my
per hour
goodness.
for trips.
$18 an hour
An
for
hour.
doing that extra.
Doing that extra, $18 an hour for doing that extra. So any type of trip activities, you'll be paid $18 per hour. So from the time you pick the students up to the time you bring the students back, you're on the clock for $18 per hour.
Per hour. And that's in addition to getting paid 5 hours for doing 4 hours of work, or maybe even a little less,
Yes.
depending upon the route. So there's an opportunity to make more money if you wanted to, having extra routes if you wanted to, being able to take kids to these outings, which they're excited about. That's the fun drive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes. Yeah.
that's like the drive to school, maybe not always so fun. The drive home from school, always fun. But the drive to go to some extracurricular, that's always fun. Really, unless they win or lose on the way back, to be not that fun.
And actually, every driver that I speak with that go on trips, most of them they really have a good time. So actually, they're being paid, and they're having a great time
Right.
with the kids and on that outing.
Exactly.
So,
Very nice. Lots of opportunity.
Yes, sir. And the other thing I know we touched a little bit on was when the drivers have to cover other routes.
Right?
We pay them. They used to be $10 per route that they cover. Now that's $18 per route. So if they cover another route, we pay them $18. So if they cover 3 routes, that's $18, $18, $18.
Wow.
3 times.
Wow. So again, lots of opportunity for people.
And you can see how it adds up.
Adds
It
up.
just really does. So if you're doing it and you're saying, oh, I don't know about $20,000 a year. Well, if you're willing to put in a little extra time, you're already getting paid well. You can put in some extra time, make some extra money.
That's right.
Yes.
Very good. And we need those bus drivers because it's important to get the kids to school. We want them to finish on time because, quite frankly, I know that there are some of the kids that have circled May 18th. Right?
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure already they've circled May 18th.
Yeah.
And if we can get the kids to school, we can get them in that classroom timely. We can get them out of school timely. Let's talk a little bit about the schedule, things we're looking forward to.
So what we did because of Ida, we made up every minute for Ida.
Remarkable. Remarkable, by the way.
Yeah. And it was one way or another. So to do that, we lost a lot of our scheduled holidays.
Right.
We had to go during Mardi Gras and all these different times that we had, people may have had trips planned or just traditionally just days that we had off to kind of regroup, catch our breath, that, and teachers need that. I mean, especially for that last stretch when we lost spring break.
Right.
That was a toughie because, you had to kind of push through to finish the year.
That mental health that's needed.
And it's so, look forward to that break, and we didn't have it. So what we did this year, just for the sake of losing days again, we built in 10 extra minutes per day. And when you add all that up, we were able to bank 5 extra days with 10 minutes per day.
Wow.
So we have 5 days banked right now. We didn't use any emergency days. So that means if nothing happens between now and the end of school, we'll get out of school 5 days earlier, which is that May 18th.
May 18th,
you
right.
mentioned, right?
And I know, we know what the date is.
Right.
But we're inching close because of the time that you
Yes.
put in. And again,
Right.
it's a great life lesson for our kids.
Right.
Put a little extra time in, saves us a little bit of a window. We
Yeah.
can get out a little early.
Yeah. So we want parents to know. I sent a little video out last week, just kind of letting them know, look, if nothing happens, be prepared, so they can make arrangements. Because
Sure.
it's, it's not the ordinary to get out that early.
Right.
So, we want them to kind of know, make arrangements for your kids. The potential is that we'll get out earlier.
Right.
And there's always a spring storm or something. Still February is a
Possibility.
really cold month.
That's right.
So we may have things happen between now and then, but looks like as of today, we may get out a week earlier.
And again, I love the idea of banking a little time.
Yeah.
It's like extra 10 minutes because everybody can do an extra 10, right?
Right.
We can do anything for 10 minutes.
That's right.
And that's a really good thing.
And Keith, the 10 minutes are not like, stealing minutes from recess or lunch. Like, it's really 10 instructional minutes.
It's classroom
and
minutes.
when you maximize the minutes, they're quality minutes. They're not just like wasted minutes that we're just tacking on. It's really instructional time. And when you add it up, it's 5 days worth of instruction. So, that's kind of what we're banking and gaining.
More school.
Yeah, that's right.
And again, you get more school, you may get to do it, get out a little summer.
Yeah,
I love the idea,
right.
but it's just better management. We're teaching good management skills.
Right.
And we want to make sure that people know there's a way to do that. And if they know somebody who isn't really sure what they want to do, there's some people that finish school, not sure what they want to do. They become a bus driver without any experience. It doesn't matter the age. If somebody has a license and somebody can take the tests and pass those tests and become a bus driver and go through the things that they need to, the education that's needed, right? You can teach them how to do that, become a bus driver and enjoy that.
That's right.
Right? Very good.
And I think you said it, but we appreciate all that the drivers do, and Mr. Aubert as well. I mean, they do a tremendous job covering all these extra routes. I mean, that's a lot of work that
really
these drivers are doing. We thank them for that.
Mr. Aubert, we appreciate your time. Appreciate your time, Mr.
Sure thing.
Orgeron.
Thanks for having us.
And thank y'all for joining us. And thank you for joining us as well, as we are out of time for this particular segment here on Bayou Time. But don't go anywhere. A whole lot more local programming right here on HTV.